In this video, I'm going to walk you through what my 60-minute daily trading workflow actually looks like in real life. So this is not intended to be some sort of polished history lesson or any theory. I just want to run through the actual process the same way that I would if I was sitting down to check the markets by myself. Now, the important thing to understand here is that the goal of this workflow is not to force a trade and not to ensure that I get into a trade every day. The goal is to run the exact same decision making process every day so that I know whether a trade is there or it isn't. So as you can see, I've got TradingView open in front of me. Typically, I would check existing positions, so open positions. I'm not going to do that because I don't have any open positions at the moment, but we're going to scan through the watch list. We're going to look for anything that actually meets the rules, and then we're going to either plan the trade properly or shut the charts down and move on. So that's the point of having a routine, right? Is not just opening charts and reacting to whatever looks interesting on any given day. You're following a specific sequence, right? Existing positions first, then the watch list, right? Direction, setup quality, entry, stop loss, target, risk, position size, all of this gets factored in. If nothing is valid, that's also fine too, right? You just move on, you call it a win for the day. Now, a clean no trade day is still a successful trading session if you followed the process properly. Okay, so let's jump onto TradingView and let's have a look through my daily workflow. Alrighty, so let's jump into it. I'm going to open up my watch list. As you can see, I'm trading the Adaptive Operator Blueprint from the 3XP Academy. I've got my watch list preloaded in. I've got my layout pre-done, and I've got my indicator live ready to go to make my life a little bit easier. So my first job here, as I don't have any existing positions open, is that I'm going to start working my way through the watch list. So let's take a look from top to bottom, as I always do. First chart is Bitcoin. So for my trading system, I need to see a directional bias confluence. So I need to see both of these showing the same direction in the top right of the screen. I can see that they're conflicting at the moment, so that's a no trade for me. So we move on to Ethereum, and I can see that again the two charts are conflicting. So that's a no trade for me. I do need to move on to the next chart. Let's have a look at BNB. Again, conflicting. So my anchor chart and my trading chart are both conflicting in terms of the directional bias, so I'm not going to take a trade on that. Same thing for XRP. So my job is just to work from top to bottom through the watch list and to identify if there are any potential setups during today's trading session. So Solana, I can see again, same thing. We've got conflicting charts. Same thing for TRX. Hype is showing me the same thing again. You can see up here, neutral and bearish. They do not match. And Dogecoin, we can see we do have a match. So we've got two matching charts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flag that in my watch list. I can see that this is a potential setup. There's still further steps we need to go through to validate that, but I'm going to flag that and come back to it. So let's have a look. Zcash is opposing, nope, conflicting again for ADA. XLM, we do have confluence here on both of our charts, so I'm going to bookmark that one. XMR is no good. Link no good. CC, we do have a match here, so I do want to flag that. BCH Gram, formerly Ton, is good for a potential setup. Litecoin conflicting directions. HBAR no good. SUI no good. AVAX potential setup. Cross no. Near no. Okay, you can see that a majority of these charts are this one matching, but a majority of these charts, the directional bias on both charts are not matching, which for my trading system means that I'm not going to enter. Okay, that's one of my rules for my trading system. That's the 3XP entry system. This is what we help our clients install inside of the 3XP Academy. If you're using a slightly different trading system, your job is still the same, right? It's to work from top to bottom of your watch list of whatever assets that you trade and filter them out, yes or no. So yes doesn't mean automatically enter. It means potential trade setup. So we can see that we've got a few here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential charts that may be entries for us today. So let's go through and take a look. Now, obviously, everyone's entry system is going to be different. For mine, I want to see a pullback in a trend, and I can see that my entry level is going to be Let me just get the drawing tool out. And my entry level is going to be somewhere upwards of the 0.618 fib level. So where we're at right now in price action down here, it's possible. However, it's highly unlikely that we'd get an entry. I will leave that there. We'll take a look at XLM and we can see the same thing again. So we're going to be looking for a pullback, but I can see here that price action's a fair way from my potential entry here. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you understand that we do not chase price. So this is unlikely. I will still watch it. I will monitor this, but it's unlikely that I'll get an entry on that. And this is just based on experience. So we can see for CC here, we've got a very similar situation. So prices pull back, it's just missed the entry and it's kind of hovering around here. So we may get an entry, we may not. I'll leave that flagged and we'll see how we go. Obviously a very bearish day today with all of the coins, almost all of the coins being bearish trades. Same story here. This one's a little bit closer. We may get an entry, unlikely. This one, I'll draw it out for demonstration purposes, but you can see that if I want to enter here or better for this specific trading system, that is a mile off, and these are 15-minute candles, so it's highly unlikely I'm getting an entry on that in the next hour. So this is our one bullish chart of the day, M. So I've marked that out. Again, same story. We are pulling back. We may get an entry, we may not. That one's a little bit closer, and we can see on our final chart, Asta, we are quite close to the entry. So this comes from experience, and this is something that you will develop. But what I'm going to do is the next step for me would be to plan these trades. So there are a couple of trades that have caught my attention immediately that are closer to the entry. So all of these could be valid still. And for my trading system, my job is to get into the first 2 trades that I can get into. That will be different for every different trading system, but for me, that's my goal here of the day. So from this point, I've gone through and done my initial scan. I've filtered out anything that's a possible. I've flagged that. I've now had a look at each of the charts that are a possible, and I've looked at roughly where price action is and determined how likely we are to get an entry on these. Now, this is not a guarantee, but this is me saying price is closer to my entry level on a few of these charts. That's where I want to focus my attention for now. So this one is quite close. So I'm not going to obviously go through the rest of the entry rules. So at this point, I would be completing an entry checklist. Okay, I would go through an entry checklist and I would make sure that this fits my exact setup criteria. Now, I can tell you at a glance, just by looking at this chart, that this does not fit the 3XP entry system. So while we do have a pullback and the directional bias is in agreement on both charts, this doesn't meet our exact entry requirements. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to unflag that, and that is invalid. Now, I'm going to go through to the next one, the other one that was reasonably close to price action. And I can see just at a glance, again, that this does not meet my specific entry requirements. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to unflag it, and I'm going to move on. So this is your job, is to exclude trades. Using your checklist, exclude trades that are invalid. Now, this is still valid. I'm going to leave that on. Price action is a mile away from my potential entry, but it's possible. Now, this one, again, this for me, for my entry system, is a borderline entry. So it's a no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. So I'm out. That is unflagged. This trading entry is valid, miles away, but valid. So the next one is valid again, and valid again. So we've done our scan, we've done our filter, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 potential charts that we may get an entry on. So these are all quite far away from my entry level. I think it's unlikely because the trading window, the entry system and the trading plan that we execute inside of the 3XP Academy is a strict 60-minute window. So if you do not get in a trade in that 60-minute window, you move on, you're done. It's okay. It's all good. There'll be another day, another trade. But for now, I think it's highly unlikely I'm going to get in, but I want to walk through the process of planning that trade for you so that you can see what it looks like. So based on this, I'm going to, there's no way I know which one's going to fill first. I'm just going to go on what is closest, in my opinion. So I think it's either Doge or XLM, and I'm going to go the higher market cap here. So there is a potential entry here, So what you would do now is you would plan out your entry. So I don't want to tell you how you enter. Your entry system will be different. If you're in the 3XP Academy, you know exactly where your entry, your exit is going to be on this trade. But let's just say, for argument's sake, let's just say we're going to enter at the 0.618 level. We want our stop loss set at the 0 level, and we want our profit target set at the 0 level. Okay, I understand that's only a 1.61 risk to reward ratio trade. This is not a trade we would take inside the 3XP Academy, but I do want to show you what it looks like to plan your trade. So I've drawn it out using the short tool on the chart, and I am waiting for price to enter here. But before I enter an order live on the exchange, I do need to plan my trade. So I'm going to double click on the short tool. I'm going to copy the entry price, jump over into my diary and paste that in entry price. I'm going to do the same thing for my profit level. And if you're in the 3XP Academy, you're familiar with this journal. This is the trading journal we do use that helps you plan out your trade. So direction is short. The ticker is Doge. Entry date and time we don't have yet. We don't have an entry, so I'm not going to enter that. Should I get an entry, I would put that in. Otherwise, I would delete this row from the diary and we're done. So risk per trade, I want to do 3%. My account balance is $10,000. That looks good. Okay, so if you're doing paper trading, this is what it would look like. Now, if we're doing live trading, I'm going to jump across to the live trading journal and paste them in. So I've planned my entry and it's given me my position size. If I want to risk 3% of my account on a $10,000 account based on the price of this asset, so it was Doge for a short, then I need to purchase this many contracts in my exchange. So from this point, my job would be to jump on my exchange, whatever exchange it is that you're trading on. You would need to jump on your exchange, and I would simply copy and paste this position size into my exchange. I would then place my planned entry price for this entry system. Obviously, we're waiting for price to return to our entry, so that would be a limit order. And I would place a stop loss and a profit target attached to that limit order so that they go live as soon as that does get filled. And that's how I'd plan my trade. Okay, so now I would look for the next closest trade and I would repeat the process exactly the same again. So that would be XLM in this case. So let's just assume this is the same. So I would again copy, paste, right, fill out the diary, and hopefully you understand the process by now. It's pretty simple. So that is the profit target price, stop loss price. We're short again, 3% risk, $10,000. Now, excellent. So we've on $10,000, because we obviously haven't placed that first trade yet, we're not live. The position side would be this many contracts. Okay. It's as simple as that. So that's the process. So now my job, now that I've got, right, let's assume that I've placed these orders live on my exchange. The process from here is to wait, right? I've just started. I need to wait till the top of the hour, and there's only two outcomes. Number one, I get a fill on one or both of these trades, and I finish entering out my trading journal. So the actual entry price, the actual position size based on rounding from the exchange. I go through my post trade checklist, so make sure that all my orders are in place, I'm protected, I've got my stop loss order, my profit target order, and we're good. That's it. I walk away, I'm done. The other outcome is I don't get a fill on either of these trades, in which case I would go to my exchange, I would cancel any live orders at the top of the hour, and I walk away, I'm done. That's it for the day. So my trading never takes more than an hour a day. I'm not guaranteed to get an entry every day. Some days I do, some days I don't. And that's what it looks like. So I hope that was somewhat helpful for you in grasping an idea of what a daily trading flow might look like. Okay, it doesn't need to be complicated. It's quite simple when you've got a proven profitable system in place and you just need to come up and execute it each day. It can be very, very simple. But that is the basic idea behind the 60-minute trading workflow, right? It's obviously not about staring at charts all day. And it's not trying to manufacture a trade. It's also not about jumping around between random coins until you find something that excites you, right? It's a contained process. You sit down, you check any open orders, you scan the same way every day, you filter out what is not clean, and you only go deeper if something actually meets the initial rules, right? If there's a valid trade, you plan it properly with your stop loss, your profit target, your position size, risk, everything gets planned before you place any orders. And if there's no valid trade, you don't force one. You're just done. Like if I had have checked that watch list for the day and there's nothing valid, I walk away. My trading day took me less than 10 minutes. And sometimes sitting out of the markets is the best thing that you can do, right? So this is obviously the part that a lot of beginners overcomplicate and tend to miss, right? A trading routine is not only useful when it helps you find a trade, but it's also useful when it tells you to leave the market alone and to sit it out for the day, right? It's better off sitting on the sidelines. That is what keeps trading from turning into an all-day guessing game and from you giving back your hard-earned profits on days when you should not have even been trading. Now, inside of the 3XP Academy, this is the exact kind of workflow that we help our clients install properly, right? One repeatable entry system, one clear trading plan, risk rules checklist, and a daily routine that can be run without sitting in charts all day, right? It can fit into a real life with real world responsibilities. If you want to check out the 3XP Academy details, I'll leave a link down below in the description. You can click that, go check it out. It's got all of the information there. But either way, the key point that I want you to take away from this video is this. The goal is not to find a trade every time you open the charts. The goal is to execute your process and your system properly. Sometimes that will end in a trade. Sometimes it will end with nothing and you'll be done in 10 minutes. Both outcomes are fine and are a win as long as the process has been executed according to your rules. If you got any value out of today's video, leave a like, maybe a comment. Hit the subscribe button if you want more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.